Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are discussing Queen Sugar. So hold on.
And before we go, I want to say, look, thank you all for holding in on us. You know, we took a little hiatus, if you will. I think we're back. We're rested. We're good to go. And hopefully you're good to go with us. So stay tuned.
Baby, I know where the last one burnt you. Know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. So you can't trust that I won't.
All right, we're back. And like I said, today we're discussing Queen Sugar. But before we get into that, Ron briefly mentioned that we were on hiatus. And that's because we've been busy, out and about. We've been busy. We've been... Ron's been holding it down, but I was up in New York, and while I was there, I got to attend the Wendy Williams show. And that was quite an experience. Wendy's show is very high energy. It's very girl power. Woo, woo. How you doing?
And she was sitting on the front row, so that ought to tell you about girl power.
Exactly. I was in the front row, and that was fun. And Wendy, she was very sweet and personable. She came around and mingled with the crowd. But, she's been in some hot water lately, so...
But before that, did she wish you happy birthday?
She did. It was my birthday, and she said happy birthday to me. She did a little video selfie with me, so that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. I was like, look at T.
Yeah, we gotta
moving
get
up in the world.
We got to get that video selfie for you guys to see, because it's really cute.
Yeah, so make sure you check it out on the Spot Real Talk on our Instagram page, because we posted everything from our little hiatus on there. And Tiffany was out there mingling with all the stars in the ATL.
Yes, and you see, I'm rocking my bad and bougie hat. This is Migos hat. So, I went to the A3C Music Festival and Conference. For those of you who don't know, I managed two artists, Bucky Malone out of Virginia and Crown Marquise from Florida. He lives in Philly. And so, I got to attend the parties, got to get a lot of knowledge. I ran into a lot of folks. Shout out to Lil Rel from Insecure and Get Out. And Angela Rye, she's amazing. Mm-hmm, so I got a chance to meet her and sit in on her podcast. A3C is always a great event for up and coming artists.
Right, and you got to go to some bomb concerts.
Oh, Nas.
Like, what?
Yes, Nas Davies with his fine self. And I went to the YFN Lucci show. I
had a out here getting her life.
Yes, I got my entire life. The week went by entirely too fast. Missed you guys though. I'm happy to be back.
I know. It seems like I haven't seen you guys in so long.
I know.
That's all right. I'm going to Las Vegas next year. I'll clean up there.
Well, put me in your suitcase.
Right. We'll go with him there too.
No, it's a boys' night. I'm taking my son actually. He'll be 21, so that's going to be a nice little trip for the two of us. Mom's going to be left at home.
What happens in Vegas, right?
Stays in Vegas. What can I say?
Okay. We'll be there with the camera crew.
Okay, so into Queen Sugar. So this show is one that we've been debating on for a while because we love the show, but it's a little bit slower than some of the other shows that we usually review and recap because we love the action and we love the comedy, but this show has like a more serious tone.
Right.
But I love it nonetheless. Like, it's still some great writing. I love that Ava DuVernay. She has done excellent with developing the show, and of course Oprah's involved. So anything she touched turned to gold.
It's gotta be gold.
But one of the things I appreciate about the show is that the black actors, I love seeing us on TV. I love that the show has women directors. Mm-hmm. The storylines are so rich.
Yes.
And things. That show, I think us black folks, we've been waiting for a show like this for a long time.
And having a character like Ralph Angel on the show don't hurt.
Absolutely. Another chocolate drop. Ooh. Ron always refers to Tasha from Power as a chocolate drop. Ralph Angel is our chocolate drop.
Well, Charlie ain't showing on nothing either now.
Yeah, Charlie is a good looking woman.
Yeah, she's good looking. Everybody on the cast. All the women are good looking, but Ralph Angel is fine. Oh, Remy's fine too.
There's a lot of eye candy for everybody.
Hey.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, Dr. Lamar too.
I know, I enjoy it.
So, just talking about the show, we're specifically discussing season 2, and it's been a lot of issues within the families.
Oh, by the way, what are we drinking here?
Oh, we're sipping on a little something.
Yeah, what is this again?
Is it peach strawberry Moscato?
Yeah, we're sipping a little today. So
yeah,
it's
just
Sunday.
Relax,
a little sip and talk.
Exactly. So don't mind the sipping. But
I just took my gulp, so I'm good.
I just wanted to talk about the dynamic between the siblings with Charlie, and then there's Nova, and also Ralph Angel. And obviously they have this thing where the father dies and he leaves them this land to take over, and Charlie is kind of like the HBIC, you know, she's like, I'm running this show.
Well, she's the one with the legal background. She's the, you know, the head, you know, as you said, woman in charge. She and to a degree, I understand, and I appreciate it because she does have the business and legal minded background
and the resources
to support what goes on. I don't have as much problem with that as I do perhaps her ability to kind of soften things when it comes to Ralph Angel and trying to understand where he's coming from, because I think she's a little headstrong with that.
Right.
She needs to break it down a notch. You know?
Yeah,
and I think
she undermines him.
She does.
Yeah, and that emasculates him.
Yeah.
It does.
And coming from jail, he doesn't need that.
Right. And let's talk about Ralph Angel while we on the topic. You know, I just love to look at him.
I do too.
It never hurts to just glare at the screen.
Look, ladies, he's 23.
23?
Yeah,
yeah, he's a baby, but he's still fine. He's still legal.
Okay.
He ain't too far off from my age, you know.
Right.
Okay.
About,
Yeah.
I won't tell y'all my age, but yeah.
Watch the Wendy show, you'll find out.
Right? But you know, Ralph Angel, it seems like he has this complex about himself where he always feels like somebody is out to get him. And for the most part, it seems like that has been the case. Like, people be coming for him a little bit.
He's a little sensitive, though. I mean, people are coming from, like, you know, Charlie has undermined him, but Ralph Angel is a little sensitive, too. As fine as he is, he comes off to be really insecure and a chip on his shoulder, and he was kind of getting on my nerves.
As much as I want to support him, I think what we're trying to say, he's a trash compactor. So everything that's ever happened to him in his life, he's taking all that, and instead of dumping it and letting it go, he compacts that stuff, and so he's a ticking time bomb, it seems. Like, you can't say anything to him without him flaring off and taking it, in most instances, the wrong way, and we've seen that a couple times. I you know, not to jump ahead, but I am glad that he has found a way to marry Darla.
Yes.
I'm totally supportive of that, but he's got to understand Darla's history. He's got to understand where she came from, and he's got to be a lot more lenient than he has shown over the last few episodes.
Now, in this whole relationship, I want to highlight a lot of the relationships and the love in this show. And I really like Darla and Ralph Angel together. They make like the cutest couple. They already have the son, and I'm really rooting for them.
Me too.
But okay, so when you talked about being ticked off with Ralph Angel, the first part that he kind of ticked me off with was when, you know, Darla, she is now working as Charlie's assistant, basically. And he kind of put her into the position to make her choose. It's either me or my sister. And he already realizes, like, the struggle she has with her addiction and how she needs to stay regular with a job and a routine, or else she'll revert to doing her drugs or whatever. And so the fact that he would put her in that position to make her choose kind of ticked me off about
Well, that's that trash compacting thing, because basically he's looking at it from a perspective of, okay, he's probably looking at her climbing the ladder being something that he isn't used to having. You know, a lot of black men, I have heard from you black women, have sometimes a problem with women making more money than they, and feeling that inept, that they can't give you what the things that they are, you know, we're supposed to give you, because you're out there working, he's out there farming, and I think he didn't want to feel like she's moving in a place that he can't get to.
I didn't feel that from him. I thought it was more like choosing sides, like, oh, you took Charlie's side and you didn't support me.
Right. And he kind of wanted her at his beck and call, too, because he was mad because he wanted her to do something for him.
Right.
And she was like, well, I have to work in here and everything. And he got...
But see,
well, it was after the big blow up, after he had revealed that the farm is really his.
But that's the whole beginning of it. If you're not doing what I want you to do, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
because you're my woman and you're supposed to be doing what I tell you to do. And yes, men, that's a problem, because some of y'all brothers, you do that and y'all got to cut that back. A woman has a right to, I have a daughter, so I'm certainly not going to tell her that she's going to be enslaved to some brother. But at the same token, I wanted to say, let her know that you have to understand your man, your black man in particular. That doesn't mean that you kowtow to him and make him feel like he's the king while he makes you feel like a slave. That's not going to work.
Right. And, going into episode 11, the most recent one, I think this one really got you hot, Tiffany, because we talked a little bit beforehand, and Ralph Angel seemed to be very displeased with the guys that were kind of staring Darla down, and he knows about her history and how she used to do some unsavory things,
turning tricks
while she was on drugs or whatever. And it's not like she had been withholding that information from him. It was something that he already knew about, yet he still found a way to use that against her and make her feel judged and uncomfortable about it. And I think that's kind of what got you hot a little bit with him.
Yeah, it did. It pissed me off, because I'm like, you knew who she was. She's been sober for 2 years, and if you saying you want to marry this woman, you cannot throw her past in her face. And basically, she ran into somebody who knew her from her past. And you can see when she got into the car that she was broken.
Yes.
She was broken. She was over there she was over there crying, trying to get herself together. And he peeped that. So he knew, she know that's who she was. That's not who she is now. Who he's marrying is somebody
different.
Different, and it's a struggle for her. And so when they're in the bed and she's getting close to him, he's like,
giving her the
he's
cold
pulling
shoulder,
away.
literally.
He's pulling away. And she was like, I can feel you judging me. Like, I could,
Yeah.
Again, he's got to empty that can.
Yeah. Either you forgive me, bruh, or you don't.
Right.
And I think he does. I think it's what he saw. It brought back things that he just hasn't dealt with personally.
Yeah.
And until he deals with it, he literally has to deal with her past.
Yeah, he has a lot of resentment towards her for what she did.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really can't blame him in a sense.
Yeah, of course.
I can't blame him, but don't say you're ready to get married if you haven't gotten through your
Exactly.
issues.
If you haven't gotten through it, then we don't need to move forward with marriage.
And that's exactly what Darla told him. If you don't want to let go of who I used to be, then I can't marry you.
They can't marry you.
And I was like, go ahead, Darla.
Right. Like, bruh, you either forgive me or you don't.
Ron looking like.
Yeah, don't keep throwing my past. Okay, I did it. You said you forgiving me. We got to the point that
It is definitely a healing process for them both. Okay?
Well, they're going through counseling, which is good.
Yeah.
Because initially he didn't want to,
Which is
That's
really common, in our community. A lot of times in the black community, we don't always want to go to counseling, and especially men. A lot of men don't want to do counseling. They don't want to be told.
A lot of times it's because you want to counsel with your minister, your pastor, and there's a book about why men don't go to church. And if you get into that, then you'll understand what it is basically, because a lot of times we feel as though no matter what we say to the minister, he's always going to be on your side. He's going to steer the conversation toward me being a better man for you and not you being a better woman for me. So
I think that's your interpretation. That's not true.
No,
because the person is supposed to be there to steer the couple.
Oh, I agree.
And because if you look at the scriptures, there are roles and counsel for both the man and the woman.
Let's understand something. In church, the reason that you hear more pastors when they're giving their sermons and they're praising you all and telling us how things have, we would have, what we have to do for you all. There are more women in church, obviously, than there are men. We know that. So, and they're going to placate to what's out there. Church is a business.
I think that all depends on where you attending your worship.
Exactly. That depends on where you worship.
Well, for the most part, from what I've seen, I know I've had instances, and I've peeped that sort of thing in most churches. However, I know denominations play a part in it. But
if you read the Bible, there are specific roles for the man and woman. The woman is not left off the hook.
Of which none of us partake in.
That's not true.
Oh, come on. Where's the virtuous woman these days?
That's not true.
Where's the virtuous woman?
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
she's out there wicked.
You sit next to her.
Aside from these two.
Exactly.
you're out working 9 to 5. You're pulling your own weight. Sometimes that could hinder a relationship with a man.
Well, from what I can
Particularly
see,
black men. Now, I am not one of them. First, let's get that clear. Okay.
You sound like a caveman over here.
No, I am not that antiquated, and I'm not saying that women should not be able to do what they want to do. But let's say that relationships, black relationships, are black relationships any different than white relationships? And a little bit of that has been kind of focused into Queen Sugar when Vi had problems with her man showing up with
the white friend.
a white friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought we were over that at this time of, but then you go back.
But it's
you
a
go back-
generational
I was gonna
thing.
say, if you go back in generations, you got Vi who fully understands our history in terms of, racism and things that have happened to us over time, but could she not have seen past that?
I think with that situation, they are in the very deep South, and a lot of racial issues, they are still very alive and well. And so, like, I get her, like, when she's in her element in the diner, she's very friendly to her white patrons. She, serves them no different than she serves anybody else. But her thing was, this is my home, and this is supposed to be like a safe haven for me. And you're bringing somebody who is like a perceived threat. Obviously, based on what happened to Micah with him, being arrested by the white officer, it's a lot of racial tension down there still.
Yeah, and then
even with the Landrys, they always attacking the family and how their family has been through so much with trying to hold on to that land. Like, she knows very well, like, the history of that area. And I think for her, it was less about saying, I don't like white people. It was more for her saying, like, this is my safe haven, and I need to feel comfortable here. And I don't know this man. I don't know his motives or anything. I don't know him from anybody on the street, and this is supposed to be my home.
And why would it be any different with a black male stranger who you don't know?
Exactly, but I think it's generational, like you said.
I do think it's generational. And plus, piggybacking on what you're saying about where they are in the Deep South, I mean, they are in New Orleans. And remember Katrina? This is like after Katrina and stuff, and you can see that there was definitely discrimination and everything that had gone on with
He was over
Katrina.
there to watch a game and drink a beer.
Oh, I'm not saying there was anything wrong with that.
And I think she was wrong for her view.
I do think she was wrong for her view.
Okay.
And she knew she was wrong for her view the way she went over there and apologized to Charlie's mom. Because I think she had realized that she had been influencing other people's thoughts about...
because when Nova confronted her, Nova asked her, she was like, did you not like her because of her, because she was white? And then she was just like, oh, I didn't like her ways and everything. And I'm like, you sounded real lame right now.
Well, I think she had an epiphany because Nova really confronted her about what is it about her that you hate so much? I mean, and when they started to discuss Nova's dad and how that relationship actually transpired, then both, I think, was able to see, Charlie's mom in a different light.
Exactly. That was so necessary. That was a very powerful scene between Charlie's mom and Charlie and Nova, because Nova learned something about herself, because Nova is a lot like her mom.
A lot. Yeah.
And I, going into the relationship with her dad and her mom, I think it was important for her to see that it wasn't Lorna's fault. Because all this time she had been taking on Vi's side. Like, basically all of my notions about you were based on what Aunt Vi felt.
She basically thought this woman stole her mom's husband. Right. And her mom pretty much, let her have him, because she was like, she gave him to him, because she was like, I want to live this type of lifestyle. She didn't want to live a traditional lifestyle with marriage and children and stuff, whereas this woman did. And you see, she said on our first date he was talking about her. He loved Nova's mom.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
And I think that for Nova, going into her relationships and how much parental influence is so big with her, like, she doesn't even realize how much of an influence that her mom had on her, to the point where she's the exact same way. She's that free spirit. First season she was with the married white cop, and then she was with the girl, the lesbian.
And she was throwing much shade at that one too.
Yes.
He's like, what's going on here?
Which kind of got me really confused with Nova, because here again, I think one of the things I like a lot about the show is that the black men are shown in very favorable.
Yep.
I like that too.
Yeah, and particularly when it comes to the relationships and how they treat their women. As again, you know, I think if Ralph Angel can empty his trash bin because it's overflowing, but let it go. He's going to make a very good husband.
Yeah.
So
He's a good father.
definitely.
Yes.
Oh
Good
yeah,
father.
because he had that whole run. I mean, you know, come out of jail, he gets his son back, and all he wants to do is take care of his son and make certain that his son doesn't go that same path.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
I love it.
kudos for that. you know,
Yeah.
really.
But going back to Nova and her situation, I just hated how she was pushing Robert Dubois away because he's like on paper, if you look at him and you got a check mark for everything you want in a man, that's it.
And I like how he challenges her.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I mean, you know, she's headstrong and she's smart and intelligent and stuff. And even when he comes at her from a different point of view, I mean, he can.
And
he
that's
has a
what
way
she
of
fell
making-
in love with.
Yeah.
You know, she really fell in love with that ability to be politically opposites.
Yes.
Yes.
And still meet at in the center.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I think that's what really captivated her. But she needs to let it go.
She needed. Oh man.
Yeah.
Come on, no.
The
I mean,
scene that got me was when Ralph Angel came over there and stuff, and with Blue and Dr. Dubois was there, and she says, "Oh, this is Robert. He just came by." Da, da, da.
Right,
Like,
right,
Yeah,
right.
she been very
yeah, she
nonchalant.
was very dismissive of
Yeah.
him and everything. Like, you know, like here you guys been really kicking it, getting cozy and stuff. You've been intimate with this man,
Right.
and you
And
to your
that's-
brother, you like.
right.
Oh,
he's
this
good.
is he just came over. I was like, Nova.
See how y'all do? See how y'all do?
No, how we do.
Don't project that on me.
Nah, we don't do that.
Okay.
Nova
But-
was tripping
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was.
and for what?
because she's like a lot like her mom, and that's the thing. She's afraid to let that man love her, and I'm like, girl, let that man
And
love
as much
you.
as she wants to be loved, because here you are, you're fooling around with another woman, you're dating white men who are married, so you're looking for something.
Yeah.
And what you're looking for is love. And here's a man who's willing to give it to you in all of its naturalness, in all of its beauty. And the first thing you do is try to run from it.
You know, and I told her the same thing. She said, when they were sitting down, she told her to stop running away from people. Like, let somebody love you.
Exactly.
Let somebody, you know, stop putting up your wall and just be vulnerable with somebody. Because it seems like I said that too. It looked like you, as soon as you find something wrong with somebody, you out the window.
Or as soon as something good comes in, like she said, you know, accept the good things that come into your life, and he is something good.
And he even gave her a key to his place in Atlanta.
I was like, okay.
Look at that.
I'm like, okay, brother. Really?
Look at you.
No,
Whatever.
no.
Look at him. Look at him.
Hey, I'm good with it, but
And she used that key too. We saw later she finally
Yes.
used that key. I was like, oh no,
Yes.
pull up.
And you know, I like when Charlie told her because she was over looking for something to wear for a TV interview, and Charlie picked up her little lingerie. She was like, "How about you go buy something nice for yourself and for Dubois too?"
Exactly.
Yeah, because apparently I guess
100%.
she's not into that thing where she.
Well, she didn't have
really.
to be.
Yeah, she hasn't had to be, but she doesn't feel the need to do anything special for anyone. She's not in that element. It's all about me and my purpose of, you know, my political aspirations or doing stuff for the community. It seems like she'll put the community ahead of everything else, but even when it comes to taking care of herself or being present in a relationship, she puts that all to the back burner.
But isn't that interesting that Charlie had to tell her to do this when last season she was telling Charlie to open up to Remy. Like when she was talking about, you know, when she was considering having a sexual relationship with Remy.
right.
Take your own advice, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting how you can give that kind of advice, but yet not take it, you know, not take your own
But
advice.
she wasn't open either. Right.
I mean, that's almost hypocritical.
Yep.
Well,
And
it is hypocritical.
I think what got her to the point was realizing that by her mother pushing her father away, he landed up in Charlie's mama's arms.
Yeah.
And so if she kept doing that to Dubois, she could actually see the outcome. Like, he gonna move on.
Right.
Exactly.
Because she said she couldn't see the outcome with him. Well, I tell you what, keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see the outcome.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she got it together.
Yeah, me too. I was like, girl.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, because even still, you know, I used your key.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah,
Relate.
but that was a big step though.
It was.
That was the first step for her to come and use the key. That was saying something. For Nova, that's saying something.
Well, you know, Nova can sway. I mean, because I can guarantee you next episode she's out for some other reason.
Well,
I don't know.
she
We'll
does
see.
seem to talk her way out. She talks herself out of some
She
things.
does. She does.
talks
We'll
her way
see.
out
We'll
a
see.
lot.
But maybe, you know, he'll be able to, you know, wear it down.
I hope he sticks around. I
hope he
him a
does.
lot.
I like
and
him
look, if he don't, her friend was more than willing to pick him
Oh, her
up.
friend, yeah, her friend was like, look, what you doing?
Because I take him.
Yeah, she's like, huh? Because
And
he's a nice piece of chocolate,
Look,
too.
going back to our situation about friends dating people we
Yeah,
talk to.
look.
There you go.
The
There
girl
you go.
code. What we
Look,
talking about the girl code?
code.
And you saw, I was trying to say.
Hey, at least
This
old
is
girl
why-
let her know up front. If you don't take him,
I'll take him. When
And
you
that's
see
the
Nova,
way-
when Nova used the key, what happened?
Yeah, look.
Yeah,
Nova used the
You
key.
know what? I guarantee you Nova had a flashback. Oh, let me go ahead and use that key.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
Because my homie just said to me
She's
that she
on
was
the
ready to
stretch.
pull
She's
up
ready
if
to pull
I'm
up.
not.
Yeah.
Right.
I know.
You better recognize.
Right. You better recognize.
That's what I've been trying to tell you, ladies.
Nah, you. I was about to say you be flipping the girl code when it's convenient for you.
Right.
Sometimes.
But she did the same thing. She did exactly what I was saying. It is not, look, okay, so they've had a, you know, he tapped it a couple of times, okay, but if you don't want it, there's somebody sitting in the
No,
wing
no.
that'll pick up on that.
You
And
ain't
she
my
told
girl
her
no more then.
Right.
Hey, you know what
Right.
she said? See ya.
Well, I want to move on a little bit and talk about Charlie because she seems to be one of their focal characters on the show. And I don't know, I really love Charlie. She reminds me a lot of people that I know, women that are biracial, and what I appreciate about her mom is that her mom allowed her to go to Louisiana and be around her people so that she would have an identity that associates with her biracial culture. And not just be involved with being on the country clubs and being on different country, traveling the world with her mom, you know, living the privileged life. She actually got to get in touch with her true self. And the fact that she even has a relationship with her other siblings from this relationship that was beforehand where it would, you know, all that tumultuous animosity that was going on there. I was like, you know, that was very big of them to allow the kids to even grow up together.
Yeah.
But then she turns right around and does what we would think the typical white woman
But
would
yeah,
do with her daughter. And now she's back. She's trying to steer
Right, but see,
her life. And it's questionable, that last scene with the gentleman that she introduced to Charlie, who has 20,000 acres to deal with, to contend for, and Charlie, all she saw were dollar signs.
Look.
So Remy, check your girl.
I really like Lorna, and I want to believe that her motives are pure. Like she genuinely
they
wants
are
to.
pure.
Well, yeah, I want to say pure from my standpoint because I want to like her, and I want to believe that she's one of those white women that are just like down for the cause. Like, look, whatever you want, I got your back. Like, this is my daughter, and I understand she's biracial, and she doesn't
down
face
for
the
the
same.
cause to say, oh, you in this little stinky thing. You got a farm. You're giving up.
Well,
you know, that's
I mean,
real
that's
bad.
because
She
she's
wants
used
her
to
to
the
have the
privileged
best.
life.
Yeah, she wants
But
Charlie to
I'm
have
talking
the
about
But what
in
is
terms-
the best? The best is
Oh, I
what's
know.
good for Charlie,
Right.
not what's
Well,
good for what you think
right,
the best might
right.
be.
No, I hear you.
Right.
You know, because all she's been doing really is trying to derail mentally what Charlie has done, and to be honest, for Charlie to come down to the deep south and be able to manage and maintain the mill and the farm, and to do all the things that she's been able to do,
It's
and
amazing.
her mother can't see that.
And she told her mom that I'm the first black sugar mill owner
Exactly.
in the state.
Yes.
Not only the first black woman, the first black woman.
Exactly.
Yes.
What? Like,
Which is
And that
amazing.
means nothing to her because she's not, a high-powered lawyer making, million dollar deals or something. I mean, who knows where that mill can go?
yeah, and I think for her mom, like I think she's forcing her mom to see how big of a deal it is. Because her mom is like, okay, sure, you can do this, but why wouldn't you be off negotiating other $1 million contracts? And that's just not where Charlie's value lies. And I think that the mom being a white woman, she doesn't see things through Charlie's eyes.
No, she doesn't. She can't see it. She can't relate and see things through her lens. And I really like Remy. I think Remy is a good man.
Yes.
He sure is.
He's a good man, and I'm like, Charlie, don't mess up.
Yeah,
And I observed how like Lorna was having that conversation with Charlie in front of Remy, and I saw how he like respectfully, you know, stood
Taking
there
notes.
and he's taking notes and he's listening and everything like that. But he's really shrewd. He's a really shrewd guy
and very intelligent brother.
and really intelligent brother. And I'm like, he's good for Charlie. And if anything, her mom should see that like. Charlie deserves to be loved for who she is, and he doesn't want anything from Charlie and stuff. He just cares about her, and that's what she should want for her daughter.
She just wants her daughter to come out of Green Acres and go back to New York. That's all it is.
I'm just hoping and praying that her mom does not try to, you know, come in and really like steer her away from Remy, steer her away from, you know, what
that's on Charlie.
I mean, you know, she honestly has already started. We've seen it where she tried to talk her out of doing the thing for the black community where they have their own.
Although she did make a point.
She did make a good point.
It was a great business point.
And that's from a business perspective.
That is from a
it
business
made a lot of sense.
And honestly, with the sugar mill being as new as it is, money has already been poured into it. It is a business decision that you might want to consider and do more than just consider it lightly.
I get that, but she also got some alimony coming in too.
Oh Lord, here we go. See,
so she good. She good. Davis got her covered.
That's right.
Well, that may be, but I don't know. Is it time for it? I guess that's a good another question. Is it time to celebrate? It's like a football game. Sometimes you can celebrate too soon, and you wind up losing.
But I think her thing is less about celebrating the win and more so about bringing
the culture.
Yes, it's for the people.
It's for the people. That's what she said. It wasn't about dollars and cents for her.
Especially when it came down to Kiki and how they just overlooked her little application, and she sees how like the farmers got overlooked, Kiki got overlooked, she's getting overlooked, and she's like, look, we need something for ourselves. And so it's more so about, feeling recognized amongst all of these people that say you're nothing to them, basically. And they say if you want to change something, then do something about it. And that's her thing. Like, okay, I'm not just about to sit back and let it complain about it while y'all walk over me. We're just gonna create something for ourselves.
I heard that. And speaking of Kiki, can I say I really like that little girl?
Yes.
I really like.
She's on.
She's adorable.
Kiki.
I like Kiki. I like Kiki. I like her for Micah. I think she's smart, and I was impressed that she was like, "Look, I'm not having sex. I'm a virgin. I wait till you look." I was me too. I was yelling at the screen. I was like, "Go!"
I was looking at Micah like, my dad's out of town. You want to go up and get in the shower with me?
Well, hold up. That's what he was used to, because he was. You saw in the first season. Those little girls were hot. Yeah. Those little girls was hot. He was doing his thing back in LA, But now he's in the South.
Pearls.
Yeah. Now he in the South. That Southern hospitality, young Kiki was like, no, bro, you ain't getting these cookies. You're not getting these cookies. I'm a virgin. I'm like, see, I like Kiki, and I like the fact that she's a young sister.
Yes.
And again,
nice brown skin.
Right. Nice chocolate.
Culture sister. She's smart.
But
I was watching Mama. I was watching Lorna when she met with Micah, because I was like, is she gonna throw shade?
I thought she was too.
Well, she tested her by saying, "Oh, you're into art," and she just started to rattle off.
I know.
That's what I said.
I'm like,
I said, you time enough. You time. And then after that,
she was through.
She was impressed.
Extremely impressed, because she knew that it wasn't just a fling. This is something that she is.
Right.
She's
and then she's
studied,
solid.
she's researched.
Yeah.
And she's,
Michael looked impressed too.
Yeah.
He was like, he was
Michael,
proud.
Yes.
I thought it was a little dig though when she mentioned that she had taken Micah to the one area that
she was trying. I didn't appreciate that.
No, she did.
Low key bragging.
She was. She kind of like and Micah was like, he ain't even mention it,
And Micah tried to play it off.
Yeah, he tried to play it off as he should have.
Yeah.
But the mom was tripping a little bit with that. I was like,
that's the thing you gotta be careful with her.
But that's privilege speaking, because she can go to Spain and take Micah there for her 16th birthday. But this girl Kiki, she's talking about her savings and trying to get money to go to college and travel the world and do.
And girlfriend could have kept it at that.
Right.
She could have.
Because.
Yeah, you don't need to rub it in. Like, I already can't afford it. I don't need to hear about your explorations around the world.
Exactly.
Lorna, I don't know about you.
I
I
know.
like you, but I don't know.
I know. I think
To be
she's sharp. I
continued.
think she's sharp.
Y'all
You
gonna
know,
see
she's-
something in Lorna that's gonna make y'all hate her. Watch.
But you know, I don't know why I was so surprised to see that Charlie's mom was like a straight up white woman. I was thinking maybe she was a mixed
Yeah, I
black
was a
woman.
little kind of. I'm not just straight up white woman. She is a straight white woman. I mean, you know, there's. You put her on the dance floor, she's going left the whole time.
I don't know that I was that surprised.
I was. I don't know
was.
why.
I mean, I thought she was either gonna be. I hear what you're saying. Either like a fair skinned sister, like maybe like a
like
Lynn Whitfield, like that type of. You know, a lot of times Lynn Whitfield plays a lot of roles, and she's really kind of regal and you
yeah.
know.
I don't know. I just had like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air mom, not the
Yeah,
black
yeah.
mom, but the light skinned mom
Oh,
they brought in
yeah.
later. That's what I was kind of thinking for Charlie. But you know, definitely uppity and because
Yeah.
with the introduction of Lorna, we can see why Charlie is the way she is.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point. And,
That is.
And I think too, to add more adversity as we move forward with Lorna, because now, to be honest, I think Lorna is going to learn a lesson, but before she does, she's going to create some turmoil.
Oh yeah.
And so there's going to be a sense of existentialism between Lorna and Charlie. You know, it's going to get to a point where, what are you going to do? You know, you have to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Lorna's going to have to make a choice as to whether she's going to work with her or go back to her,
Right.
you know, her way of living.
Well, Aunt Biden already told her, girl, you ain't supposed to be in this town. But hopefully with their, you know, their little talk that they had, it seems like they're trying to reconcile. So
Yes.
maybe she'll stick around. I just don't want her to stick around long enough to become the bad guy.
Right. Well, and Charlie, I hope that she takes a stand too as far as her relationship with Remy. Like, I hope that she does not allow her mother to become, you know, to be interfering with her relationship, because she's a grown woman.
No,
and at some
absolutely.
point, if it comes to that, she need to tell her mom to fall back.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And then with Charlie and Davis, so that's a whole nother situation. Good Lord. Davis, I wanted to like him so bad, and I see like where he's made his mistake and he's trying to rebound on, you know, on the parental side where he's trying to be more present as a father. But the divorce papers dry, the ink hasn't even dried, and he over there all up in the singer's face. Not to say that Charlie ain't all up in Remy's face, because they both moved on pretty quickly.
And very quickly. It's interesting that they would do that when they, you know, when Micah is so involved with the two of them. But I think they can cut Davis a little slack. I mean, it's over.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Charlie's moved on, obviously. So let Davis do Davis. You know.
Yeah, I just don't care what Davis does. But I appreciate how he's trying to step up as a father with Micah. I do respect that, because it's important to still have that relationship when you're co-parenting, and you know when
Charlie's afraid that he may try to, you know, take him from her.
Right.
You know, and there's some mixed feelings about that too, in terms of where does a young man belong.
Yeah, I didn't really like.
I don't know that he wants to be with him now.
I don't know.
It seems weird though. Like, I think that with the whole incident of him getting arrested, when him and his dad, he was able to come clean to his dad. I think that was a major moment.
It was.
Yeah.
And it actually opened Micah up to his dad a bit, because he saw how his dad, you know, handled situations while he was down in the at the precinct. So I think it.
And plus, he's a man.
Yeah.
He's a man.
You know, so
and
he
needs to be around his
He
dad
does.
as much as possible.
He does.
Yes.
I agree with that.
If not be there all the time, he certainly needs to be. He needs to be completely free from any kind of trauma in terms of, or drama, I should say, in terms of being around his dad. He needs to be there.
And I gave Davis a lot of cool points, not only for that, but also for the little heart-to-heart they had on the basketball court, where he was like, you know, you make a shot, you can ask me a question. I make a shot, I can ask you, and there's nothing off limits. And, you know, just having that
Man to man.
The man to man.
and
That's
just straight
necessary.
like open, like I can ask you whatever, and you know, I'm not meaning to be disrespectful, but don't lie to me. And so like the fact that he was open and honest with his son, and he said like, look, this is what it is, like that's something that is major for a child growing up. And not to go back to Power, but we see where that landed Omari and Tariq when he kept lying to Tariq about the truth. And so just being honest is like you know, you're being honest with me, you're my father, I can respect you. And even with him going through all of that stuff he's going on, like, he really needs the truth. Like, don't continue to lie to me on top of everything I got going on. So the fact that Davis was open and honest with him, I gave him a lot of cool points for that.
Right. And he, Micah had been really sheltered in
Mhm.
LA. And then to come down to the South and see,
It's a huge culture change.
Culture change, police brutality is happening all over, not just in the South. But, you know.
But they all had to learn a lesson. I mean, you can't give a young man a Porsche or whatever it was he was driving, and you're going to put him in the South and he's just riding along like that. I mean, you're asking for trouble. And it shouldn't be that way.
He was stopped for nothing.
But he also is a black man, and it goes to show
Right.
that even if you are the fairest of skin, to them, you still black.
You're still black, right.
Yeah, so.
And I know that's what Vi is, you know, has a problem with, you know, in terms of the race culture, you know, but I don't know.
And not just her, because look how hard Nova is fighting to shed light on all the injustice and stuff. I mean, that's a big part of who Nova is and what she writes.
Exactly. And that's why she needs Dr.
Dubois,
even more, because I think the two of them can really do some damage. You know, he was on the opposite spectrum before, but I think he sees her plight and he fully understands it, and I think he wants to join in on that. You know, Nova just has to. She's done a good job with him. I think as you know, she brought him along. She's gave him some, you know, nookie. He's all right now, you know, and he's thinking the way she's thinking now. So, you know, let's hope that, you know, they can make something happen.
Well, one of the last couples on the show is Untitled and Hollywood. Now, I really like their relationship.
I do too.
I love them.
I love them together too.
And again, kudos for writing. You know, Hollywood is an upstanding brother. He's shown that on every step. And then, you know, Vi, and this is what I was talking about earlier, having a problem with Hollywood inviting white boy to the house. You know Hollywood. You know him. You know his experiences. You know how he feels, how he thinks. If you felt that way, Vi, you should have kept it to yourself.
Right. But we know Unvi, especially from the situation with Charlie's mom, you know, she's a little illogical in that area. Because I can agree with Unvi all day long. She's usually right. She's usually the glue that holds the family together, and she's always the voice of reason. But on this instance, I think she let her own, she was in her own way on this situation.
Yeah, her own prejudice.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, here again, you stand to lose a real good brother who is younger than you, so he's going to keep you very healthy.
Well, she's holding her own, because you heard Untitled. Untitled was like, I'm okay. You meet me in the bedroom. Let me show you. He threw that fork down so I let him know. Like, look, it's all good over here.
I was throwing dollar bills at the
I was like, go ahead, Aunt Vay. Show him what's up.
Hey, I'm right on.
And I love their dynamic.
I do too.
Even the fact that he's younger than her, they just work so well together as a couple, and he just looks out for her, and he's like very tender with her.
He is.
Always trying to lend a helping hand in the kitchen, making the pies and stuff. I'm like supporting her business. Go ahead.
And even when she was going through, it looks like she has fibromyalgia. You know, before that, she wasn't really wanting to acknowledge that something was wrong.
Right.
And he was just like, are you okay? Like, noticing the details, like, something's up. And he's like, are you okay?
Right.
And he really cares about her. And I think, you know, kudos to Queen Sugar for highlighting the relationships between an older woman and a younger man. Because a lot of times, there's a stigma.
Yeah.
There's a stigma. It's like, oh, you're being a cougar if you date this younger man. And here they are. They found love.
No, and that's what it's all about. I mean, you know, there's labels for everything, but you don't live by them.
Well,
I agree.
That's true.
So
I agree.
It doesn't matter. You're either a cougar or robbing the cradle or whatever the situation is. You know, you don't have to live by those labels.
Right.
You know, if you find, because I'm gonna tell you, it's hard enough to find in a relationship something that works, and then when you do find it, you're gonna be hung up over a label.
Right.
You're right.
That's fact.
We got issues.
Right. I agree with that.
And you know, initially, like early on last season, you know, after Unvi found out about him still being married, she kind of pushed away from him, and with good reason. I mean, he should have been more upfront about that.
Well,
But he had good intentions.
He did. He had
excellent
great
intentions.
intentions. And that's what I can appreciate about
Right.
him, because, like, he never means her any harm. And usually, like, with a younger man, you always assume that they just in it for one thing, or they don't really have genuine intentions.
But he's
But he is just so genuine all the way around.
I remember them being in the back of the truck and talking about their age difference. And he should have, and in terms of what Vi was thinking, I think he stamped all that nonsense out, because he really showed her then, and he continues to show how he's into Vi.
And even just how considerate he was this past episode when he was saying, you know, they had given him this huge contract to work for the Landrys, and he's like, I can't work for them.
I heard
I'm
that.
like,
Yeah,
look at you being considerate.
That's right. He was considering the family. He's like, nah, this is truly a conflict, and I'm not going to take this job.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, wow.
Because other folks might have been like, look, that's
Money.
run me that bag.
Right.
Run me that bag.
See ya. I mean, you know, but hey.
Yeah, I don't know. I really love their whole dynamic. And then, like, just speaking on in terms of all the relationships on the show, it seems like everything, the writing is so great, and everything just flows together so naturally that nothing is forced. And that's what I can appreciate about the show, even though it is a little bit more serious in tone.
It is. But I agree with you. I do like the way we are, portrayed in terms of our relationships, because it is a situation that, I've had some concern with in terms of black relationships. Is there such a thing as black relationships? Is it different from white relationships? Is it any different when a black woman is with a white man, or a white woman is with a black man? Are there differences there? And if it's okay, we'd like to start introducing, perhaps in our next episode, black relationships, how they work, what is a black relationship. Getting into the show, I think we saw a lot of it in this episode in terms of how black relationships work. And I think it's something that we really want to start talking about. So, of course, as always, you're invited to be a part of that discussion, and you know exactly how to do that. But I'd like to start getting into that, because there's a lot there to cover.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, as always, if you want to join in on the conversation, drop your email or hit us up on one of our social media sites and let us know that you want to be a participant, and we'll definitely reach out to you on how you can participate. But I think it's just very important to discuss. We watch all these black shows on TV, and we see the stereotype of, baby mamas and dysfunction here and there. And finally, we have a show that is really positive, and it just makes us want to highlight that even more through discussion.
Right.
So, obviously, you follow us at The Spot Real Talk on Facebook, on Instagram, we on Twitter. We love conversing with you. We love looking at you guys' comments on our YouTube page.
Favorable or otherwise.
Otherwise. And we want to just, like, this is real talk. We want to be real. And so there's going to be some controversial takes.
Yes, there will be.
I look at Ron on this one.
Yes.
Don't kill the messenger. I'm just bringing it up. We will be talking about that a little later on. And ladies, I know that I'm going to catch hell. Okay, but remember, I'm just a messenger.
Right, and this is just healthy conversation. It's not meant to be offensive, so keep that in mind.
Right.
But I'm going to bring it, though.
Right.
We all are.
Exactly. And also, if you have any topics pertaining to Black love specifically that you want to mention, drop them in the comments and let us know.
Definitely.
All right, so overall, I think we are loving Queen Sugar. This is, I think, the second half of the second season is just starting, so there's a new episode coming on Thursday. I'm sorry, Wednesday. And look, I just love this show. And my Ralph Angel.
Yeah, me too. Ralph Angel, get it together, though.
Get it together.
Okay, Ralph Angel. Yes,
all right, well, eventually we'll come back and talk about the show again. I'm hoping maybe by the end of the season we can catch up and do another recap about what's gone down in the last leg of the season.
Certainly.
All right, so we're going to call it a night, you guys. Make sure you tune in, subscribe, and comment. And make sure you check us out on our social media as well. Until next time, good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So real, so real.